So, welcome to the behind the scenes footage where you'll hopefully learn how I make a podcast and see the podcast, just be able to watch this video for the actual podcast. So, what we're going to do is I got my little mic on my shirt, I got my recording device, and I got my show notes. So, in a moment I'm going to check to see if the camera's still on. But then I'm going to just go through the podcast episode, and I can even break it down into it, how I got the intro laid out, the content, kind of what stories I'm going to tell, and then we'll just dive into it. So, we are still recording, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it. All right. Welcome to the Hacky Q podcast. This is another solo episode with Jared Levinson. And today's hack is deceptively simple and risk-free. And it's simple. You just guess the other person's emotions during a conversation to help them calm down and feel understood. Let me repeat that. You guess their emotions. So people say words, then there's emotions underneath the words. For example, I'm fine. That doesn't really mean you're fine. The emotion underneath that might be, sounds like you're a little stressed. So this hack is very simple. All you have to do is listen to the other person telling you their day, their story, what happened at work, what happened to their friend. And what you're going to do is say something like, sounds like, seems like you're feeling, or are you feeling this way? Or you could even just say the emotion right away. So this is a preface to the emotion. So you say, so they tell you about your day and you say, sounds like you're not feeling so good. Or are you stressed? Or, stressed, So you basically guess what the other person's emotions are. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is this even going to do? What is me guessing another person's emotions even going to do? Well, I said earlier, it's going to help them stay calm and feel understood. So this is really important because so many people get defensive. If you have a spouse you fight with, or a friend who you get annoyed with, or a boss that pisses you off, you need to be able to talk to them and express yourself in a way that doesn't cause them to get on the defensive. Most people, they'll get on the defensive and they'll say, you did this, you did that, you did this. And then the other person will get on the defensive back and they'll say, no, you did that, you did that, you did that. And it escalates out of control. So this technique allows you to guess the other person's emotions. And in one moment, I'll describe a situation using some real life people, including myself, where guessing emotions helped relax people. And when they were relaxed, they could listen. And instead of getting defensive and yelling, they ended up feeling understood and could come up with a solution together. Now, this technique comes out of the nonviolent communication way of living. If you haven't heard of nonviolent communication, it's been used all around the world, and it's pretty well known. And most importantly, I've used it myself. Okay, I'm speaking from experience here. I have done it myself. It works for me. And it's a whole framework of compassionate communication where we're really understanding each other and getting at the real root causes and solutions. And instead of going into the entire framework, I just want to go over this simple introductory technique, which is guessing the other person's underlying emotions. So the coolest part about this is risk-free. To guess another person's emotions doesn't require you to open up. It doesn't require you to become vulnerable. It doesn't require you to learn some sort of complicated technique or anything like that. What it does require is that you listen, and then you're able to kind of guess what the other person is saying. So let me just tell you how this worked out with Paul and I the other day. This is going to be a sneak peek to our workshop, our live workshop. You can get links in the description below for our live workshop, where we're going to review this situation in more in-depth information and really dive into the nitty-gritty. Right here, though, I wanted to start sending out emails more to the Hack EQ community. And there's a little bit of debate because we have 2 email lists, and if we send out emails more frequently, do both email lists get them? What's the right frequency? And so I text Paul, and I remember texting Paul and saying, hey, can we compassionately communicate around emails? Smiley face, question mark. And Paul, we started chatting on the phone a few minutes later. And what I noticed Paul doing right away was this technique on me. And it worked. He said, sounds like you're feeling like you want more control. After I told him that I'd like for us to send out more emails and have less editing process involved. And hearing him reflect my underlying emotion made me feel relaxed, made me feel incredibly grateful that I was talking with someone who could get me. I felt a big sense of relief. And then he kept going too. Like, I would say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling like the editing process is too long. Okay, so you want more control. I'd say, yeah. And I think we need to send out emails more quicker. There's more to it than that, but he would say something like, sounds like you want to grow. Sounds like you want to improve. And I'd be like, yeah, man, yeah, this is it. I'm feeling heard. And instead of me getting upset, I felt really happy. So imagine if you could, in every sort of difficult conversation you had with a spouse about the kids, or with a kid about doing homework, or a boss about the work schedule or project, imagine if instead of getting upset, you could have both people feeling like a win-win solution. Like, that would not only impact your work life and your family life, but you'd be so much more happier overall that it would spill over in other areas of your life. I know this spillover effect happened for one lady I worked with. This was actually covered in our first discovery session. You can get that link below too, where it's we just went over this simple technique because she was fighting with her husband a lot. He was a bit overweight, and she would push him to work out verbally. She'd say, why don't you work out? You need to work out. You know what's good for you. Using these sharp statements. And instead, what we ended up working on was her simply having a conversation with her husband, asking, how's your day? And then listening and reflecting a few times, guessing at his underlying emotions. Sounds like you're stressed. Sounds like you feel overwhelmed. Sounds like you have, what was the other one? Sounds like you're proud of this project that you're working on. And she would just leave it at that, okay? She wouldn't push her husband to work out or anything like that. And they ended up having conversations more. So instead of all their conversations being marked by fighting and discord, they were actually talking like they were a couple, like they were before they had kids. And, I'm not going to lie to you and say that the husband magically started working out. But their whole marriage changed just by having these little conversations that start with guessing at the other person's emotions rather than some sort of judgment or an attack. And the beautiful part about this was, like, the wife didn't need to say her feelings. She was a bit more introverted, and, she kind of had a harder time tapping into her feelings. We ended up working on how to become aware of her feelings, how to notice them in her body so she could express them in a compassionate way. But initially, she didn't want to open up. So this technique was perfect for her. She just had to guess. She just had to listen. It was risk-free. And that's the hack. That's the hack today. So what I want you to do is try this out. Try this out in your relationships and let me know how this goes. Guess at their emotion. Guess what they're feeling. Guess what they're going through. And then let me know how it goes. Let me know if you got the reasoning behind this technique. And join our Facebook group. There's going to be another description on the link below. And let me know what other topics you want to cover. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace. All right. Not bad for a first run. Now, I'll edit that and so forth and put it out there in the world. But I hope you got a good look at behind the scenes and you enjoy and share our content. All right. Have a good one.